And welcome to another edition of Duck Snow Sports. This week, talking about week 4 of the NFL. I can't believe it's already week 4. Seems like yesterday I was picking the Vikings to win the NFC North. Oh boy, were we young and stupid then. But moving on to this week, should be an interesting week in the NFL with a lot of interesting matchups. A lot of 3-0 teams and a lot of 0-3 teams. So should be good to see who'll get their first win or their first loss this week, because I think there'll be a lot of interesting things that'll happen this week. But let's get started with our Thursday night game. Of course, the San Francisco 49ers taking on the St. Louis Rams. Start with San Fran. Great start to the season against the Packers, but since then, a real slide. Against Seattle, didn't show up. Let's call it for what it is. Didn't show up, did not bring their A game to Seattle. And last week, disappointing loss to the to the Colts. I mean, very disappointing loss. It's 49ers finding a hard time to find their groove right now. Kaepernick, not what he was last year, not the same explosive guy. It seems like teams have figured him out. This defense, giving up points. Not the solid number one defense that we all thought it was. And Frank Gore just not running the ball. And let's be honest, if the 49ers expect to get back to winning games, Frank Gore and that running game has to come. Because that's the only way, realistically, this team is going to win games this year, is with Frank Gore and that running game running to get some time off Kaepernick. But will be interesting this week because they're taking on a St. Louis Rams team who, yes, 1-2 doesn't sound good, but this has been a very impressive team. I've really liked what I've seen the St. Louis Rams this year. Almost coming back against Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. A St. Louis Rams team and a team who was in it against the Dallas Cowboys last week could have won that game. But a team of very interesting St. Louis Rams. Sam Bradford seems to be getting better and better every year. The defense starting to come around. This team gets better and better every year, and it will be interesting because a well-coached team with Jeff Fisher. But in prime time, I gotta believe the San Francisco 49ers come to play. And I gotta believe the 49ers, the Rams will be in a fight. This will be a dogfight. But the 49ers beat the St. Louis Rams by I'll say a field goal. I'll say this is a field goal game. Our next game, the Sunday Nighter, as Tom Brady and New England Patriots go to the Georgia Dome, take on Matt Ryan and the struggling Atlanta Falcons. Start with New England. Very, very interesting couple start the season for New England. I mean, yes, they are 3-0, but is there a worse 3-0 team in the history of the NFL than these New England Patriots? I mean, yes, they're 3-0, but again, they haven't beat anyone. I mean, you think they beat the Jets, the Bills, Tampa Bay. They haven't really had that game. We're going to get a tough opponent, and this could be this week because they're playing at least on paper, a Super Bowl caliber team in Atlanta. But New England, let's face it, this defense, it's been okay. It's been all right, but not a championship caliber type defense. On offense, let's face it, Tom Brady has missed his weapons. Let's face it, what he's missed Wes, he's missed Gronk. Gronk could be back this week. That could help him out. But Tom Brady can't get anything synced with these new receivers, and hey, they're all undrafted or low-drafted guys. What do you really expect? I mean, what did everybody really expect? I know Tom Brady is one of the greatest QBs to ever play. Hall of Famer, best QB of this generation, no doubt. But he just has no way to throw to. And that comes at the end of the day. You still need guys to throw to. At the end of the day, you can have the greatest quarterback in the world, but you have no way to throw to. You're going to run into problems. And that's been New England's biggest problem this year. Yes, they are 3-0, but they could easily be 0-3 right now. And if I was New England, I would be a little scared about what could happen because, let's face it, they're not that dominant team they used to be. And they're going to team in Atlanta Falcons, let's face facts, are struggling to say the least. I mean, 1-2, again, those two losses coming in the last second of the games. I mean, against New Orleans, last 30 seconds left in the game. Last week, 30 seconds left in the game. Lose both games. So it's realistically, the Atlanta Falcons could be 3-0 right now, but it's not that simple right now because this team, for whatever reason, just goes away in the second half of games. I can't explain it. They just go away in the second half of games. And they have to get their act together because, they're already starting to fall behind the Saints. And, it only takes... The NFL season's weird because it can get away from you fast. And right now, this is a huge game for Atlanta. At home against New England in prime time. If Atlanta Falcons don't win this game, the jam could be done on the season for the Atlanta Falcons. As crazy as that sounds in week 4, but you realistically think if the Saints win again this week, you're 3 games behind. Not good. Not good. And the Atlanta Falcons, on paper, are probably one of the best teams in the NFL. You have Matt Ryan, a stud QB, Roddy White, Julio Jones, Tony Gonzalez, Steven Jackson in the backfield, and a defense that gets better and better every year. A great return guy in Harry Douglas. But for whatever reason, the Atlanta Falcons just haven't found their groove this year. For whatever reason, they have to have a full, complete game. I think that's what Mike Smith should be a whole complete game. They get off to a great first half, but second half they go away. They can't do that against Tom Brady, and I don't think they will, because I think the Atlanta Falcons at home in prime time on Sunday night will have a big game, and I think the Atlanta Falcons beat the New England Patriots this week. Close game, TD type game, but the Atlanta Falcons beat the New England Patriots this week. And now let's to the Monday Nighter as the Miami Dolphins, the 3-0 Miami Dolphins, taking on the 3-0 Saints. Should be an interesting one, to say the least. Let's start with Miami. Man, do they win games tight. I mean, give credit to all in the world to that coaching staff and Tannehill, all these guys. But Miami Dolphins know how to win games. Like, look at last week against Atlanta. They're not playing great in the first half, but they know how to get the job done. That's very impressive for such a young group of guys in Miami Dolphins. They're really starting to prove that, maybe last year at the end of the season when they started to come on a bit, that wasn't a fluke, that is the real team. And the Miami Dolphins is playing great. They're running the football. Tannehill's making enough throws, and this defense comes to play. I mean, really liking what the Miami Dolphins are doing right now, but they have a tough test this week, as they will be playing the New Orleans Saints, who are back. Who I had my doubts at the start of the year, but New Orleans Saints are back. They're back to being that team again, that one of the best teams in the NFL. Drew Brees is back. He's got Graham back. He's got his buddy Sean Payton back. That seemed to change everything. I was wrong about that. I didn't think that would change much, but it's changed a lot this week. And this year it's just been good. This defense, Rob Ryan's really turned that defense around. But when I watch the Saints play, I still see holes. Has their defense improved? Yes. But are they one of the best defenses in the league? No, not by a long shot. I mean, there's still holes in this defense. They don't run the ball consistently enough for my liking. Drew Brees just has to do a little bit too much. And I just think a team in Miami that will just grind them down, play great defense. I like the Miami Dolphins. That's right, the Miami Dolphins to stay undefeated this week and go into New Orleans and beat the Saints. And Miami Dolphins are going to start the 2013 season 4-0. Who could saw that one coming? Not me. Not me at all. But rest of the games should be interesting this week as Buffalo versus Baltimore. I like the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills haven't impressed me this year. The Baltimore Ravens haven't, so this one's pretty simple. Cincinnati and Cleveland. Big win for Cleveland last week. Very impressive, but I like the Cincinnati Bengals to continue their hot start to the season. Chicago and Detroit. I'm starting to believe in Mark Trestman and the Chicago Bears. I can't believe a CFL-type offense is working in the NFL, but I don't know how it's working, but it's working. So I like the Chicago Bears to beat the Detroit Lions. Seattle and Houston. This will be an interesting one. 1 o'clock start in Houston. So you got the West team going east. Never good, but the Seattle Seahawks are just on a different level right now. I like the Seattle Seahawks get the job done. The Colts versus the Jaguars. Are the 2013 Jaguars the worst team ever assembled? I think they might be. So that's why I like the Colts this week. Kansas City versus the New York Giants. I got to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's right, 4-0 Chiefs. Who would have thunk? And the Giants just haven't shown me anything this year, so I can't trust the Giants. Minnesota versus Pittsburgh. Well, somebody's got to win this game, and I will go with the Minnesota Vikings. Tampa Bay versus Arizona. I like Tampa Bay. Tennessee versus the New York Jets. I like the Tennessee Titans. Denver versus Philly. What happened to the Philly we saw week 1? I don't know where they went. I want to see that team again, but it won't happen this week because they will not, and I repeat, will not slow down that juggernaut known as Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. Washington versus Oakland. Everybody saw Monday night's game knows that Oakland might be next to Jacksonville, the worst team in the league, so I will take the Washington Redskins. San Diego and Dallas, tight one, but I will go with San Diego at home. And that's it. Last week I went a average 8-8, not a great record. Turned my record this year to 28-19. Should be an interesting week. I'm expecting a good week of football. And until next time, I'm Eric Duxbury saying I'm Dux, and I know sports, kind of.